Good morning, and thank you for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be covering the Lakers versus the Pelicans. We'll also be talking about the Warriors lacking cohesion. We'll also be talking about the Bucks may be without a star player for the start of the playoff. We'll also be discussing Victor Wembanyama's rookie year, and make sure that you guys stick around for later in the show when we'll be diving into our dumb criminal story of the week. Before we start, though, I'd like to ask you guys like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. That link is gsmcpodcast.net. This just puts your question at the top of the list so I can see it, and it also really helps the show. Hello, Tate.
Right.
How are you doing?
Okay, we're okay. Starting a little late.
Yeah.
We had a little technical snafu today.
Little oopsie. It's
So
okay, though.
so we picked the stories beforehand,
Hmm.
and what we're going to talk about most of them, except for the ending stories, which are all faith,
Yes.
and kind of what we're going to talk about. And because the games we had to change up because the way the games went down. And I thought Faith had all the new updates,
Hmm.
and turned out they weren't sent.
Hmm.
So Faith had no clue. So last second change for Faith. So she's
Yeah.
she's flying without a net today.
Might be a little
So
rusty this morning, but
so you gotta be kind and gentle to Faith
yes.
today.
It very much
So
feels like a Monday instead of a Wednesday today. I felt that vibe when I woke up this morning. So
see, I'm struggling. I'm all hopped up on drugs today because I hurt my back. Not those kind of drugs. No, no, no. That'd make for a whole different kind of
yeah.
show. Yeah, I'm like more painkillers for my back, which could be bad as well. But yeah, I totally
Yeah.
hurt my back. So I'm moving like an old man today.
Hmm.
So that's why I told you. I'm not whooping anybody anymore. I throw a punch, my back goes out, everything. I just get
Yeah.
whooped up. I am not like this whole Mike Tyson going back into the
Hmm.
ring at 58. I'm never, I won't even spell ring in a spelling bee.
Oh
So,
gosh.
all right.
Alrighty.
So we had some interesting games last night.
Yes, we
So
did.
let's dive into them.
Alrighty, so LeBron's Laker edge Pelicans to book playoff clash with the Nuggets. So LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers held off a furious late rally to beat the New Orleans Pelicans 110-106 on Tuesday and book a first-round NBA playoff clash with the defending champion Denver Nuggets. Four-time NBA champion James scored 23 points with 9 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals to lead the Lakers in the play-in game victory that secured the 7th seed in the Western Conference. The 39-year-old superstar is in the playoff for the 17th time in 21 seasons and will get another shot at Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets, who swept the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals on their way to the title last season. Zion Williamson scored 40 points and keyed the Pelicans' rally for an 18 third-quarter deficit. He threw down an alley-oop dunk to tie it at 93-93, then tied it at 95-95 with a driving basket in the lane with 3 minutes and 19 seconds remaining, but appeared to land awkwardly and was soon out of the game. He threw a towel in disgust as he headed to the locker room for good. The Pelicans kept the pressure on without him. They tied it twice more, but D'Angelo Russell's three-pointer with 51.3 seconds remaining pushed the Lakers' lead to 4 points, and Los Angeles with a timely rebound and a pair of free throws from Anthony Davis held on the win. Russell drilled 5 for the Lakers' 14 three-pointers on the way to 21 points. Davis scored 20 and grabbed 15 rebounds in the victory, which followed the Lakers' win over the Pelicans on the final day of the regular season on Sunday.
Look at my girl for someone that just got this thrown at her last second. Looked like you practiced that one. Actually, that was pretty darn good.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first off, this was the game that let's talk about. I'll dive into the game first. The
Mm-hmm.
Lakers took off, and the Lakers were playing incredibly well. They went up
Mm-hmm.
by 18. Uh, they were the Lakers started out on fire. And but Zion, everyone's been on Zion for a while. He hasn't really that for about him being injured, things off the court. This was Zion's like coming out day. He
Mm-hmm.
came out, it's his first time kind of playing in the playoff game, and he went off. I mean, he played tough, he played hard. He scored 40 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Zion was on fire. He was on a mission. You forget how big Zion is. At one point, Zion goes to drive down the court. LeBron steps in front of him, and when Zion hits him, LeBron goes flying. LeBron is a big man.
Yeah.
LeBron doesn't normally go flying. Other people go flying. And Zion totally, I mean, just the size of Zion. But even though the Pelicans went on a run in that third and beginning of the fourth quarter, the Lakers truly settled down and played a great game. As we're talking about the old man LeBron James, 23 points.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, LeBron did LeBron things. Anthony Davis came in with 20,
Mm-hmm.
but D'Angelo Russell is the key. He had 21 points. He had some critical points down the stretch that was needed. I kind of feel like when I look at this and the fact that the Lakers are in a play-in game, I kind of feel like the coaching staff is the reason why the Lakers were in this play-in game. Because when they had D'Angelo Russell on the bench, they couldn't figure out a lineup for a long time, and the Lakers totally slid right after the play-in tournament. And I just didn't understand why they kept going with these different lineups. The lineup with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell. That is the lineup that's going to give the Lakers the best chance.
Mm-hmm.
And they really showed it this game here. Now, one of the topics that's been talked about and has come up a lot is many people are debating, should the Lakers throw this game
Yeah, we were
and
talking
not
about that.
win?
We were talking about that
Yes,
yesterday.
yes. And I was saying, yes, they should, but absolutely not. And the absolutely not is in the play-in, this is sudden death. You have to win the game to ensure that you're in. You like Golden State against Sacramento. We're just going to talk about they're out. You can't afford to say, "Hey, we'll mail this game in, and we'll get the next one, and we'll be in, and we'll be the 8th seed instead of the 7th seed, so they can avoid Denver."
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, you just can't. You can't do it. It's absolutely crazy. Now, I was thinking about this. Because we were talking about this yesterday, and I didn't like that they were matching up with Denver because I think Denver is the best team in the West. But I will tell you this. I would rather see the Lakers play Denver right now. The Lakers are doing well. They've won 10 of their last 11 games. LeBron, the last month has been shooting like right about 41, no, about 47% from three. The Lakers are rolling at the right time. So the Lakers are getting hot. And if you're going to play Denver, you want to roll into Denver on with some momentum
Mm-hmm.
to see to see if you have a chance. Because I feel like that's the only chance they have is to come in hot. LeBron catches on fire, and they get out to an early lead with Denver. Denver's a tough, it's just a tough pill to deal with. Man, Jokic is going to be the MVP. Uh, Anthony Davis has not really matched up as well as I would like against Jokic. That's the one guy that causes everyone so much problems because he's so deadly. You watch him, Faith, he seems like the most like unathletic individual ever. You look at him and it's like he can't even jump. He may be the best player in the league. He doesn't look it. It doesn't. You look around and it's like, oh, Jokic, another triple double, another win. So looking at this and looking at that matchup I understand why people were saying the Lakers should throw this because the Lakers against other teams, like I would really like the Lakers against OKC. Uh, I think the Lakers could cause a lot of trouble. This is going to be the Lakers are going to need a lot of help to, to compete with Denver. I just felt like Denver overall is the better team. In order for the Lakers to win, LeBron's gonna have to have his normal LeBron type day games, but Anthony Davis is the key. Can he put a lot of pressure on Joker and make him work for it and cancel him out? And then have Rui and Austin Reeves and D'Angelo come in there. This time, though, unlike last year in the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers have a lot more size to throw at Joker this year. So I could see them putting a lot of fresh bodies on them. That's the key to surviving against Denver is consistently rotating in a lot of big bodies, getting physical with him, frustrating him because, I mean, Denver, Jokic and Murray are, literally, I have them win it all. I'm very curious to see how it goes. I got it Denver in 6. I hope the Lakers can make it a game of it. Denver in 6 games. Uh, I don't want to see a gentleman sweep, but I don't see the Lakers winning this one. Hope I'm wrong, Faith. As you know, as a Laker fan. But as far as this game goes, I felt like New Orleans actually has something to build on. Seeing Zion perform like he did uh, with 40 and 11. I mean, that was impressive. The fact that he ended up getting injured and having to leave the game a little early was unfortunate, but I felt like the Pelicans could build on this and improve for next year. I thought this was all positive. Granted, they had to play the Lakers, who've kind of had their number all year anyway. Uh, and here's the thing: the Pelicans still have a chance. Like I'm writing them off. I don't mean to write them off. I'm writing them. I kind of think of them as kind of written off because of the fact that they still have to come back, and now they have to play Sacramento. The play-in goes whoever won between the Lakers and the Pelicans automatically got in. But then the other game was Sacramento and the Clippers, and whoever won out of that one played the Pelicans for the final spot. And if Zion is not healthy and he can't play in that game, I don't really give the Pelicans a shot. But if it's a minor injury that Zion can play, and that's in a few days, then I would love to see them make the playoffs because the Pelicans have played incredibly well. So I would like to see them make the playoffs. But if Zion is injured or not 100%, I think it's going to be a tall order to handle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take.
All right. Well, we also got a comment while you were giving your take.
Oh, okay.
Twitch, Diggs BTW1. They just said, "Hey, what's up?" So,
What's up, my man?
what's up?
Excellent. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Love getting comments from people.
Yeah,
So keep it coming.
yeah. Did you see this game going the way that it did?
Yeah, actually, the Lakers had just played them.
Hmm.
The Lakers have played incredibly well against the Pelicans all year. It was kind of the Lakers actually went in as I think it's like a 1 or 2 point underdog on this game because it was in New Orleans.
Hmm.
But I had it. I just thought LeBron in closeout games. You can't sleep on LeBron on a closeout game, and this is
Hmm.
this is this is a kind of a closeout game where it's a must-win situation. LeBron always performs, and today was no different. LeBron did LeBron things. The nice thing is, if you can, I feel like the Lakers can beat anyone
Hmm.
when you have a day like this. When you have LeBron and Anthony Davis, they do their part. Anthony Davis 20, LeBron 23, but then you get 21 from D'Angelo Russell and Rui Hachimura 13, 16 from Austin Reeves. That's a winning formula. It has to be other people outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis. They have to both, their two superstars have to perform incredibly well, but then they have to get that supporting cast help. If they don't get that, the Lakers are not going to win.
Hmm.
And tonight or last night, that's exactly what they got, and they jumped out to a comfortable lead. I thought it was going to be a blowout. Then the third quarter came in, and like I said, Pelicans went on a run. Zion, you know, was incredible and brought the game back close, and then the Lakers closed it out in a close game. But yeah, it kind of went the way I expected it.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about how the Warriors lacked cohesion and identity, which doomed their season as they stumbled out of the playoff contention. So make sure you guys stick around, and we'll be back in a minute.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about the Lakers versus the Pelicans, which happened last night, and now we're going to be talking about the...
I was just going to ask you. I was going to ask you a quick question before you jump into your story, real quick.
Yes.
You're like, yes. I know you're a big Caitlin Clark fan,
Yes.
and I sent you a couple of TikToks yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see how much she's getting paid as the first pick in NBA draft?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes.
Okay, when I saw that, I was shocked. I knew players from the WNBA did not get paid much,
Mm-hmm.
but she's gonna make $76,535
There are
her first year.
There are people who graduate college with a bachelor's degree and they'll get a job and they make more than that on their first job, depending on what your degree is in.
Okay, but think about this. 50% of that is going to go to taxes. Okay. So you cut 76,000 down to what, 38, let's say 40. And then you give the agent has to take their cut. That's a 5 or 7% right there. She's right about 30,000, like maybe a little bit 32,000 for the year. Imagine if I know she has endorsements and things like that, but you could be the number one pick in the WNBA draft, and let's say you go to the LA Sparks or the Liberty. Man, you need 2 or 3 roommates to even get a place.
Yeah, I was reading some comments of the videos that you sent me, and one of them was like, Caitlin Clark's gonna have a roommate, and they're gonna ask where she's going, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just off to practice for a professional basketball league."
Seriously, that when you think about how much a player gets paid in the WNBA, and I know there's a lot of people upset about it, and it's not I don't look at it as a man-woman thing.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it as a support issue. This is a massive support issue.
That and skill level too. Like, she is the all-time leading scorer in Division I college basketball, men and women, and she's only getting paid 70,000,
right?
Something like that.
It's one of those things where the players are slotted and how much they make. My issue is when you look at how many people came out to watch her. This is the reason why I'm hoping that the people that came out to watch her in the NCAA tournament turns out to watch the WNBA, because they're getting this money because they're not getting the ratings, so they're not bringing in the advertising dollars, so they're not getting the big contracts. And they're right now they're having their biggest contract is just starting.
Mm-hmm.
But like, people, when you watch Caitlin, when you watch these games, they're great games. Why I don't understand why people do not watch the WNBA. It's a shame to me. When I look at the number one pick in the draft, I don't care who it is. It doesn't have to be Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
It's slotted. Whoever's the number one pick, that's how much they get their first year. That's a travesty. I mean, I feel like it should have been at least 100,000 minimum, right? Is that fair? Like, the number one pick just started at flat out 100 grand.
They probably
We'll slot everybody
afford
up.
that.
No,
they
there's
probably
not.
can't afford that. I think I don't remember how much money like the WNBA gets for. Let me double check that real quick. What they get for like their TV ratings, stuff like that.
It's not a lot.
Let me see. Oh, it was on here. Okay. No, that's not right. Anyway, it's not a lot for their TV deal. The WNBA currently makes about $60 million a year from its media rights, so they're not going to be able to afford to pay her, $100,000 starting out.
That's a sin. I feel like half the United States, a little more than half the United States, is women. Okay, let's take the men, throw them in a lake. The women should be showing up to these games, right?
Yes.
Where the heck are they?
Yeah, I agree.
Show up to the games and watch them. I'm committed to watching more women's basketball and more women's college basketball. I still I'm a huge women's MMA fan, women's CrossFit, women's tennis, women's golf. But I'm going to make a big effort this year to this coming year to watch more women's basketball because they need the ratings. And just to get out there and support women. Women need to get out there and start watching these games. And then make your significant other go to the games with you as well. It should be, if it's quality sports, it shouldn't matter that it's women's sports. That's kind of the way I say it. So
I agree.
I wanted to say that before we went into our next topic, because it just shows like how few people are watching the WNBA, and it's not right.
Yeah.
So get out there, watch the games.
Yeah. Well, before we dive into our regularly scheduled program, we did get another comment from YouTube. Pete, or Petey, however it's spelled with 2 T's and an E. So Pete 34 asked a question saying, what about Zion? I'm not exactly sure if they're asking, if like we talked about him or
about Zion. No, I talked about Zion. Zion went off in the play-in game against the Lakers. Went with 40 points, 11 rebounds, I think 5 assists. This was really his first real playoff game, and he delivered. He was there. He was box office. He was physical. He really showed up for the game, showing that New Orleans has a bright future. As long as Zion can get himself healthy, get his weight, make sure his weight is under control, you can build a team around Zion. There's a bright future there. And he didn't shrink when the lights were on. He really kicked his game up. So I loved what Zion did in the game against the Lakers. And hopefully he's healthy. I think they said he pulled a hamstring or something like that. Hopefully he's healthy, and for the final play-in spot, he can show up and play against Sacramento. Because if he puts another performance like this on, they can beat Sacramento if Zion's playing. If Zion doesn't play, I don't give him much chance.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, back to our regularly scheduled program. So the Warriors lacked cohesion and identity, which doomed their season as they stumbled out of the playoff contention. One of the things that stood out this season for the Golden State Warriors was the constant search for something that just worked. Any team looking to contend for a title, or at the very least looking to become a serious playoff team, has to bring something to the table that takes form of an identity rooted up stability and consistency. In all the years the Warriors have won their 4 championships, they knew who they were, a team that moves the ball, moves its players, and takes an approach in order to boost the dominance of its best players. That requires a couple of things: having a coaching staff that dictates the culture, having stars and veterans who accept the culture and set the tone for the rest of the roster, and arguably the most important one, having the correct personnel to make that culture on the court an outstanding success. All of the above were present in 2015 and 2016, despite the blown 3-1 lead in 2017, 2018, and against all odds allowed the Warriors to succeed in 2022, and what empowered Steph Curry to do most of the legwork in their finals win over the Boston Celtics. 2 years later, in the story of the Warriors' 2024 season is the complete opposite of the formula that took them to the top. There was no consistent stretch of any lineup, rotation, or identity they could bank on for long stretches. Injuries and suspensions played a part in that. Mistakes were made along the way, across the board: coaching staff, players, front office, etc. There's no denying that the coaching staff led by Steve Kerr has seen better days. Even the most ardent Kerr defender or impartial viewer can see the stumbles and falls in terms of rotation decisions, lineups, and on-court tactical decisions. The Warriors had trouble playing the way that they wanted to on offense, and the numbers supported that theory despite a healthy Curry season in which he played 74 regular season games, the most since 2016 and 17 season, which was 79 games. They finished the season 10th in offensive rating and non-garbage time, which feels like an underachievement given that they have one of the most potent offensive forces on the roster. But even while Curry can still move mountains as the focal point of the offense, he still needs to be supported offensively, which is true of all great players in the past, present, and future.
Saw that look you made. Garbage time is when the game's pretty much over. They got a big lead. Sometimes there's no pressure on you, so you're just letting it fly because you have there's no pressure. When the game's on the line, that's when the pressure's there. It's a lot harder to make shots and do things. So that's why they call it garbage time. Okay, because I saw that look you gave. I speak faithese. Okay, I looked at this and I watched this game, and the thing that popped in my mind is, you ever heard this saying, if it ain't broke, what's the next part to it?
Don't
right. Well, this is broke down, got 4 flats. It's smoking out the back. I'm sorry. I watched Golden State, and the dynasty is over. It is over. I love Steph. I love Clay. Draymond. I like Draymond. Chris Paul. I love him as well. Andrew Wiggins. Jonathan Kuminga. Kevon Looney. But this team needs to be broken up. They're not going to contend for a championship until they turn the page. Remember, we were talking about Klay Thompson, and I love Klay, but you cannot have a must-win. This was a win or go home type situation, okay? Now, Klay Thompson played 31 minutes and 36 seconds, okay? So he played a lot in the game. The person that played the most was Steph Curry with 36 minutes. So Klay was out there pretty much the entire game. Faith, you had a better game than Klay. And I'm not joking.
I highly doubt that.
Okay, you tell me who had a better game, Faith or Klay? Klay played 31 minutes and 36 seconds. He went 0 for 10 from the field, 0 for 6 on 3-point shots, 0% from 3. He had no free throws for a grand total of 0 points.
I think Klay, we're on an even playing field right now. I wouldn't say that I would play better than him. We're on an even playing field. Someone who is 4'11", I wouldn't make any of that.
The fact is, you telling me you can't go 0 for 6 from 3? You can't go 0 for 10 from the field? I can do that.
That's can do sin. That. I can't do that.
And that's not. And I'm okay. And guys, I'm not trying to be Mr. Hot Take guy at all. I don't mean to be that. But what happened out there was, this is sudden death. You win or you go home. And Klay might have had his worst game of his career. Okay.
Yeah, that's not great.
Chris Paul, Hall of Fame point guard Chris Paul, played 18 minutes. He got 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. You can't have that. You have your veterans out. You keep veterans on your team so that they can step up at this time. This is when you want your all-star veterans, your Hall of Fame players to rise to the occasion, and they didn't. Steph Curry was Steph Curry, but they were able to throw the kitchen sink at Steph Curry. Steph Curry only got 22 points because they made it. Steph was not going to beat them. They wanted everyone else to beat them. Andrew Wiggins. It was like, where's Andrew Wiggins? 12 points. Draymond, he doesn't really he's not a big shot guy. He does a lot of other things. But Draymond only had 12 points, 3 rebounds. I mean, it was horrible. Kuminga had 16 points, but they came out incredibly flat. This didn't seem like a play-in game. It seemed like they were like they didn't play hard. And I watched this game, and to me, you think about Golden State revolutionizing the game by being able to shooting 3-point shots and shooting. And Sacramento plays better Golden State basketball than the Golden State Warriors do. They were hitting shots, Harrison Barnes, Murray, Sabonis, they were hitting their shots. They were more athletic. They were more physical. I mean, across the board, they were just a better team. Mm-hmm. On every aspect of the game. And when you think about the fact that this is a do or die situation, and they got blown out and came out incredibly flat. And I know Steve Kerr came out and said that they desperately want Klay Thompson back. I think it's time to break him up. I would love to see it. For Klay, I think the smart move for Klay is to come back. I think Klay should take a huge, huge pay cut and come back to them as far as what's best for him. But what's best for Golden State, I feel like moving on from Klay, moving on from Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins. The last 2 years, he hasn't done that well. Draymond's an aging player as well. It's time for them to start rebuilding and putting some other players, some younger, more athletic players around Steph Curry. You don't have to do a complete teardown because you still have Steph Curry, but it's time. It's no longer the Splash Brothers. It's just Steph. And you got to realize that and start building for the future. Mm-hmm. Because what's out there is, I don't see them even as a playoff team next year. Mm-hmm. They played so poorly this year, and this old team is only going to get older. I think they're almost at the second apron already, so they don't have a lot of cap space. There's going to be some players that need to take some cuts. I'd be trading guys. I would blow this team up with the exception of Steph and see if I can make one more run with Steph. Because it's a disservice to let Steph keep coming out there and playing on a team that really has no shot at contending for championships. Steph and LeBron are in this now for can they win another championship? And I feel like the Lakers, wherever things land with them, but the future is we got to put a team where they're in a championship or bust kind of mode. And I feel like either Sacramento needs to go and say, we're in a rebuild, or we're going to go make one more run with Steph Curry, and we're going to put the players around that Steph Curry needs to be successful. And those players are not Andrew Wiggins, and they're not Klay Thompson. And both of those guys are great guys, and I hate saying that. Mm. So.
Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Bucks to be without a star for the start of the playoffs, and we'll also be talking about Victor Wembanyama reflecting on a great rookie year in the NBA. So make sure you guys stick around, and we'll be back in a minute.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about how the Warriors lacked cohesion and identity, which doomed their season as they stumbled out of the playoff contention. And now we're going to be talking about the Bucks to be without a star for the start of the playoff, and we'll also be discussing Victor Wembanyama reflecting on a great rookie year in the NBA. But before we do that, I just wanted to remind you guys to like and follow the show. We get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. That link is gsmcpodcast.net. This just puts your question at the top of the list so I can see it, and it also really helps the show. So I think you should do it, you know?
Okay.
All right.
So okay. I'm going to share. No, I'm not going to say it. Nope. I'm not jinxing whatsoever. Go ahead and roll it, Sister Faith.
I'm not going to get it. Okay, so will the Bucks be without a star player for the start of the playoff? So the Bucks are preparing to be without star forward Giannis
Antetokounmpo.
Yep.
And I can't even do it that well either.
There you go. Yep. When they tip off their first round series versus the Pacers on Sunday. Giannis missed the. I'm just gonna call him Giannis because
that's what everyone does. Everyone calls him Giannis.
Giannis missed the final 3 games of the regular season due to an injury that the Bucks diagnosed as a left soleus calf strain. The Athletic reported on Monday that there was some real doubt about Giannis's ability to return for Game 1 this weekend, so the Athletic's update does not come as a major surprise. According to the Athletic, the Bucks are hopeful that treatment on Giannis's calf strain will allow the 2-time MVP to return sometime later in the series. He has been undergoing treatment around the clock, sources tell ESPN. It's a bit of deja vu for the Bucks, who saw their superstar go down with a back injury in Game 1 of their first-round series versus Miami a year ago. That injury cost Giannis a 2.5 games of a series that the Heat ultimately won in 5. Milwaukee, which went for 4-5 without Giannis this season, won't want to put its franchise player at risk of more serious injury by rushing him back, but will want to do everything in its power to avoid a repeat that the 2023 scenario in this year's playoffs. Giannis is expected to show up on most MVP ballots this spring after
averaging.
Yep, averaging. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. Goodness. 30.4 points, 11.5 rebounds, and a career high 6.5 assists and 35.2 minutes per game across 73 games for the Bucks. His 61.1% mark on the field goal attempts this season also represents a career high. Sorry, I got all turned around with that last name, and I can't even get regular words out of my mouth. Average. Average.
That's funny.
Excuse me.
Okay. This one's a tough one. First off, I'm picking this as my upset special, even before this. I have Indiana upsetting Milwaukee in the first round and knocking them out. They've played them tough all year. Matter of fact, they've outplayed them all year. Now you're going to tell me that Giannis is not going to be able to play? I feel like if Giannis is missing more than, if he misses 1 to 2 games, looks like it's going to be, then I don't give Milwaukee. I'm definitely taking Indiana to win this series. Second off, I don't care. Even I know this is going to be crazy to say, especially with Milwaukee starting the season out by midway through firing their coach and then bringing in Doc Rivers. But there is no way, not this injury, there is no way that I'm bringing Giannis back early. I know it sounds crazy, but Giannis is so important to this franchise. And the reason why I'm not rushing Giannis back, you cannot rush Giannis back on a calf strain. A calf strain, a lot of times, can turn into an Achilles injury. An Achilles injury can end your career. Guys like Boogie Cousins had Achilles injury, never came back. Most players, when they come back from Achilles injury, they're never the same. Kevin Durant's the only one that I've ever seen come back from an Achilles injury and still keep his game. There's no way that you force or rush a 7-footer like Giannis, a talented guy like Giannis, back, even if it costs you the playoffs. I'm saying that. Even if it costs you the playoffs, I'm not rushing Giannis back. Giannis is too valuable to the franchise. He's already won a championship there. I'm going to look out for Giannis's career, even over a playoff game. The calf strain is just so dangerous. Unless I'm 100% sure this is not going to possibly turn into an Achilles injury. If you remember, when Kevin Durant was with Golden State, he had a calf strain, and it was playoff time, and everyone was like, no, it's a calf strain, everything's cool. And then what did he do? He ended up blowing out his Achilles tendon. You can't take that. That kind of risk is way too high, way too dangerous. This is maybe the best player in the league. If not, he's one of the 1, 2, or 3 best players in the league. And at any time, he could easily be the best player in the league. I'm not risking that. That risk is way too high for me. I'm not doing it. No. Do you see where I'm coming from there?
Calf strain's very dangerous. And you definitely need to lay down and chill out for a bit.
I just, this is different than anywhere. Like, I was pro letting Joel Embiid rest. And it was more because I didn't see the 76ers really going far this year. I just don't want to risk Giannis. An Achilles is something that will change anyone's career. An Achilles, pretty much, traditionally, if you blow out your Achilles, your career's over. That's what they're risking. That's what I see when you look at the calf strain, making sure that Achilles is taken care of and is handled before I bring him out. So, okay.
Whew. Alrighty.
Got a little sniffles over there, I see.
Yes, pollen. The pollen season's still strong over here in the South, and it's finally getting to me. I took an allergy pill this morning, but I don't think it's kicked in yet. So, okay.
Wow.
So our next story is Victor Wembanyama reflects on a great rookie year in the NBA. Year one has concluded for Victor Wembanyama, marking a remarkable journey filled with standout performances and historic moments. The rookie's inaugural season in the NBA has been so exceptional that the league dedicated a 2-hour highlight reel to mark his achievements on YouTube. Following his extraordinary campaign, Victor sat down with French journalist Benjamin Moubechi. I probably butchered that. I don't speak French. To reflect on his season. His latest article brilliantly captures their interaction, providing insight into Victor's thoughts and experiences. Overall, he expresses immense pride and happiness regarding his debut NBA season. He acknowledges the significance of his on-court accomplishments and doesn't take them for granted. However, fueled by his competitive spirit, he voiced a desire for greater team success, wishing they were still competing in the postseason. Despite this, Victor acknowledges the long-term vision of the San Antonio Spurs organization, appreciating the team's transparency and communication regarding their approach. He reaffirms his confidence in his teammates and collective projects they are building. While discussing his relationship with Coach Popovich, Victor speaks candidly about his admiration for him. He emphasizes Popovich's genuine concern for players and individuals first, highlighting his respect and care for their well-being both on and off the court. Throughout the season, their bond has flourished, evident in their mutual respect and understanding. Finally, Victor outlines his plans for the immediate future, which include remaining in San Antonio for additional training and medical assessments, but soon after he eagerly anticipates returning home to France, not only for his family, but also for the culinary delights of Paris and participate in the 2024 Paris Olympics.
Okay. First off, Wembanyama is everything and more of what the hype was real with him. If I had a vote right now, most people are going to take Rudy Gobert to be Defensive Player of the Year. Not me. Oh, no. I would give it to Victor Wembanyama. His first year as a rookie, I would make him Rookie of the Year. Not Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. I would give him both awards. He has come out. I remember when his first game, and people were just roasting him. I mean, roasting him. He's a bust, this and that. And I'm like, this is just his first game playing. He's adjusting to the NBA game. And he exceeded all expectations. His defensive play has already made him the best defensive player in the game. That's what I'm just going to say it flat out. I think he's the best defensive player in the game right now. His offense is only going to get better. You're looking at, in my opinion, the face of the NBA. It's going to be hard to make him the face of the NBA because he's not an American. But he's going to, in my opinion, he could easily become the best offensive player in the league, the best defensive player in the league, on a great organization that's really taking their time and building things and developing him the right way. Going to San Antonio, having Pop as your coach, you couldn't ask for a better situation. I love hearing about the fact that he plans on coming back, staying in San Antonio for a little bit to work on more on his game, on his health, and then he's going to be going back to Europe to get ready for the Olympics. The Olympics is only going to help him. He's going to be, playing again against more NBA type caliber players. That's going to help him even more. I could see next year. It's kind of crazy saying he's Rookie of the Year, and in my opinion, he's Defensive Player of the Year. And I'm saying that next year could be his breakout year. I feel like watching San Antonio they need to get a point guard out there. A point guard. If San Antonio adds a point guard that can get Wembanyama the ball in certain spots where he needs to, so he doesn't have to work so much. Because Wembanyama, he's creating shots. He's shooting jumpers, threes. He's blocking shots. He does it all at a 7'4" frame is amazing. Health. That's the thing. That's the other thing I love hearing is that, he's working with the organization. They're trying to make sure that his health is paramount, making sure he's doing the right things. There's no room for a mistake when you're 7'4" with that frail. His body's very skinny, very frail. So you have to be super careful with him. You don't want him to force putting weight on him, make it come natural. Ankle and foot injuries are the ones that you got to be careful. Most times you have to be super careful about back injuries. And so that's one of the reasons why I love the fact that he's in San Antonio. Also, that I love the fact coming from Europe, which is a much slower pace, more family environment, coming to the US where it's like everything's out there. Going to San Antonio is a much slower pace city. I think like sending like a New York or Miami or somewhere like that would have been a little too much. And that's the only thing I feel like that can really slow him up is health and the trappings of the NBA life. There's that the trappings of that NBA life can get you, and it's gotten a lot of players. When you have mountains of money being thrown at you, lines of women chasing after you, you have the name, you have everything. There's a lot of things that can draw you away, and so far it seems like his mind is very focused. He's a very grounded individual, and he's focusing on his game and his health, and I absolutely love it. That's the future. Like we were just talking about Zion and how great he's been this this play-in game. But the future of basketball is Victor Wembanyama. So
he is very. I was looking at pictures of him today when I was prepping for the show, and he's like string bean lanky and tall.
Yes, he is. And do you realize how tall 7'4" is?
I've never stood next to someone who is 7'4", but I'm sure me standing next to him, you
come to his waist. I bet you probably come to his waist, and that's not exaggerating at all.
Yeah.
You look at some of the pictures, and it's nuts looking at how tall he is.
Yeah.
But he's super young. He's athletic. His game is so polished. He's just, even the San Antonio Spurs were not a good team, and he was fun to watch every game. Every time I saw him, it's just fun watching him, even on a team that wasn't good at all. And they're only going to get better.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, with that, guys, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about our dumb criminal story of the week. So make sure you guys stick around, and we'll be back in a minute.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about whether or not Giannis will be with the Bucks the start of the playoff. We also discussed Victor Wembanyama reflecting on a great rookie year in the NBA. Now we're going to be diving into our dumb criminal story of the week. But Tate has sent me something. I don't know what he sent me.
Okay, Kevin Hart is 5'2".
Uh-huh.
I just showed a
God.
picture. So
Is that Shaq?
That's Shaq, and that's Yao Ming.
Are you sure that this is? It's not like modified or anything?
No, that's fact.
Oh my God! Look how
So-
little he.
So I'm showing Kevin Hart next to Shaq and Yao Ming, and showing what a difference it is, and how tall it is, and then you say, let's see, next to.
And I'm shorter than Kevin Hart.
Yes, that's the part I was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you look at it and you realize, I was going to try to show you, they have the picture, because I saw Victor Wembanyama next to Shaq, and he made Shaq look small, and that was weird to me, because I've never seen anyone make Shaq look like a normal person. So I was trying to find the picture when they were like next to each other, and it's just like it is crazy. So let me see if I can do this. Let's see if I can pull that off there. It's just a second. Just trying to see if I can pull it up. Sorry about the delay, but I was just trying to
little detour.
Because it's amazing. I did this kind of rush, so you kind of have to zoom in, because it's just you're going to see a picture of yourself there as well. But
What?
okay, so I just
you screenshotted it. Okay.
Yeah, I did a quick. And
I
you're
was like,
like,
did
what?
you add me in the photo?
No. But you see how much bigger he is, the Shaq?
Yeah, he's having to like lean down to give Shaq
Yes.
a hug. That's crazy.
And you see Kevin Hart next to Shaq. Sorry guys, had to do a quick detour because Faith didn't quite realize how tall these guys are.
I can understand how tall they are. People
The Kevin
who
Hart
are like
one just looks that's just crazy, right?
people who are in the five and up are considered tall to me because I'm 4'11". So everybody's
So
tall.
Kevin Hart's looking down at you.
Just a little bit. Only
And
a
then-
little bit.
Then you look at that picture, and that is nuts.
Yeah. I would definitely be at that guy's waistline. That's crazy.
All right.
All right. So for our dumb criminal story this week, an Iowa man claims his life sentence was served after he died and was resuscitated. A prisoner serving a life sentence at Iowa State Penitentiary was taken to a local hospital. This is an older story, but I saw it on Instagram. And
I'm all about this one. I
Okay.
didn't know what you were giving me, but soon when you just gave me that little snippet, I am in.
Okay, so a prisoner serving a life sentence at Iowa State Penitentiary was taken to a local hospital in 2015, where he had to be resuscitated 5 times after his heart stopped. Benjamin was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole, which I'm not going to tell y'all what he was sentenced to. Ooh. If you'd like, you can do some research or, fill in the blanks for yourself. We're not going to dive into that, though.
Okay,
So
thank you.
Benjamin had been rushed to the hospital after collapsing in his cell as a result of enlarged kidney stones, which caused him to be unable to urinate externally on March 30th, according to court documents.
He died. He almost died from kidney stones.
He did die from kidney stones. He was resuscitated.
Damn. All right. He had kidney rocks. He didn't have stones.
After being admitted to the hospital, Benjamin had to be resuscitated 5 times. Court documents said that Benjamin had a do not resuscitate order on file at the hospital where he was revived. He alleged that the order was ignored by medical professionals. Doctors at the hospital administered adrenaline and some other drug, to save Benjamin's life. Later, he underwent surgery to repair internal damage caused by the oversized kidney stones. He filed a post-conviction relief against the state of Iowa for his freedom in April of 2018 under the pretext that because he technically died 5 times, he served his life sentence and spent 4 years too long in prison. He lost the case in district court. On Thursday, the Iowa State Court of Appeals shot Benjamin down as well. Though it makes for a compelling case, there is a legal definition for death according to the Iowa State Statute 708.2. A person is considered dead if it is announced by a physician, a licensed physician assistant, a registered nurse, or a licensed practical nurse. That did not happen in his situation. The judge additionally maintained in Court of Appeals of opinion that because Benjamin was still alive, that he should remain in prison. She cited State versus Louisville as the basis of her ruling. Under Iowa State Statute 902.1, the punishment for a Class A felony is a life sentence. What he did falls under that category. However, nowhere in the state does it list anything concerning a prisoner's temporarily dying.
Okay. Now, see, it's kind of hard. I gotta dismiss the actual guy because he did some things that puts him that he's supposed to be thrown in jail, up under jail, and then put another jail on top of him. Okay, so that's the first thing. Yeah. So we're dismissing. We're just talking about the exact story.
We're talking about the idea of it.
Yes. Do you remember the one guy you did the story on, and they pronounced him as dead?
Yes.
And he was like on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you remember this. Mm-hmm. So technically, if that dude was on serving a life sentence, then under their definition, he should be set free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was pronounced dead. Yes.
This dude. No, we're not talking about the Joker that did all the other stuff there.
Yeah.
I'm okay with him rotting in jail. Okay. I got no problem with that. But I'm talking about the spirit of the law in this particular case.
Yes.
This dude was just on vacation sipping pina coladas and came home and found out they had declared him dead. So if he was doing time, according to that, he was declared by a nurse or whatever, a doctor or a nurse declared him dead. They wrote the paperwork. He has his death certificate. He has everything. He should get out of jail. He should be walking out there with sunglasses on, smoking a cigarette, living his best life.
Hey, the dude who was trying to claim that he should.
No, we're not talking about that Joker. We don't care about him.
It kind of makes sense. I'm like, yeah, life sentence. I died. I should, I served my time.
When once the ticker stops, the clock stops. So you're saying his heart stopped, so therefore
the life sentence.
He didn't serve his time. Technically, according to the faith approach, he served his time 6 times. He was alive, his heart stopped, they restarted his heart 5 different times. So he already served 6 life sentences, and he should be able to walk out of there. Styling, profiling, I am out.
Not this dude, but
not this dude. We don't care about. Like I said, we don't care about that Joker. He gets to serve some extra time, but
multiple life.
That's a great question. If somebody's in jail and their heart stops, do you let them? Should he be allowed out?
That's the question. That's the $1 million question today.
Okay, I know a guy, this is a totally different kind of subject, but I knew a guy, went to school with, I know him. He got in trouble.
Hmm.
He was in the process of the court time and everything, and he was facing a few years. He was in deep trouble. But the pandemic happened.
Did he get to go
He
home?
didn't get any. He didn't get he got probation. He didn't serve. Yeah, because they were letting all the people out of jail because of the pandemic. So all these people were getting let out of jail. They didn't want to put in more people in jail, and he didn't do anything that bad.
You said he was in serious trouble.
Being serious, you can be in serious trouble. You can make some mistakes. If you have, if you've made one mistake, two mistakes, and then you do something silly, he's not a violent person or anything like that. He's made some dumb decisions in life. Driving without a license and things like that. I don't want to go too much into someone's history, but he was facing some serious time. But because he just so happens to get in trouble during a pandemic, he got no time.
Man.
You look at you like, oh man. So if let's say after the pandemic, you know about this and then you do the same thing, shouldn't you be able to use that as precedent? Like, listen, he got no time.
Yeah, this dude.
So I should get no time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So there's a thing called legal precedent. And I go through this and I say, if I'm that guy's lawyer, I'm searching around the country. I'm trying to find, was there ever a case where a guy's heart stopped and the judge was like, you know what, he served time? Because if they can find one of those, that shows legal precedent. Mm-hmm. And therefore, I think he should be let out and set free.
Yeah.
So, and when and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, life, when somebody gets life in prison, they've done something pretty serious. Now, I'm not talking about the people that go and get life in prison, and then they found out they didn't do it. Mm-hmm. That's a question. If someone gets life in prison, mm-hmm. and then and this has happened a bunch of times, this has happened hundreds of times in the U.S., hundreds, where people have gotten life in prison, and then DNA evidence comes out and they're like, oops, he wasn't the one that did it. What do you say? Do you think a person, if they got life in prison and the DNA proves that they didn't do it, do you think they should get money?
I think there should be some type of compensation, yes.
I think there should be some serious cheddar. I think for just make it a standard, $100,000 for every year you spent in jail.
Yeah.
That's what I say, because
we'll just take the money from like the taxpayers that pay for,
that's where, when they sue a state or something like that, it's the taxpayers that pay it anyway. But yeah, I'm like, if you go to jail and you shouldn't have went to jail, I think there should be some compensation mm-hmm. For life. But if I'm being serious about this guy, just because his heart stopped, I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you got to have no brain activity and your mm-hmm. heart got to stop. That's when it happens. But I do remember, this was last year, they pronounced a woman dead, and she woke up. This was in the US. I think it was like somewhere in Africa somewhere, but she woke up during her funeral.
Oh my God, I would lose my mind.
See if you can find that one.
I would run out of the building. And I mean, run out screaming out the building.
Let's see. Yep. It comes up here. Give me 1 second. Here it is. I'm gonna.
Oh, it's Ecuador, in Ecuador.
Yes. So you see, you found it. She told this woman, she went way beyond this dude. She was in the casket, got her hair and nails done, everything.
Well, she ended up dying after that anyway. She was only alive for like 5 hours.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that. I thought she woke up and everybody was around her with some flowers, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" But yeah, imagine that. That's the craziest thing of all.
Mm-hmm.
Is someone
like,
waking up during
hell no. Mm-hmm. Something has possessed her. I gotta get going.
If you're at the funeral and the person wakes up like, "Hey y'all, what's going on?" See,
I'm dipping, and I'm never talking to that person ever again if they end up.
Oh, you're not even okay.
No, because I don't know what's going on. I don't write off supernatural things because there's, you don't know. You will never know. So I'm not touching that stuff. I'm not going to mess with it. So if somebody just sits up in their coffin in the middle of their funeral and they're just alive, I'm gone.
Okay, I've mentioned this before, but that's happened to me where I showed up at a party.
Oh, and somebody thought you were dead. Yeah.
Another buddy of ours had passed, and I'm Tate, and his name is Tig. And a couple of guys thought they said Tate died, and they were all upset. And then I'm walking in the party, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And they're like, one guy dropped his glass, other guy ran over and tackled me. And it was the craziest thing ever because they thought that I had passed.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how crazy. Now think about that. Imagine, and my one buddy, he punched me like 3 times, like, "I cried over you," and all this stuff. But imagine you're upset that a friend of yours has passed, and then like a couple months go by and you're at a party, and then that friend walks in there like, "What up, fools?"
I'm dipping that. You don't know.
You're leaving? You're leaving the party? So you would have ran from me.
Probably. Yes, I probably would have ran from you. I don't know.
That's a true story. That might
be the devil inside you or something. I'm not messing with that.
Ooh, yeah, that's a crazy experience I had. You walk into a party and have a couple of people actually shocked that you're there and that you're alive. Mm-hmm. I swear to you, that is a true story. And they were shook. They were shook. And so my problem is, you jokers didn't go to my funeral.
You didn't have one.
Right.
What do you mean they didn't go to your funeral? You didn't have one.
They would have known. If they'd have looked and tried to find out when the funeral was, they'd have figured out that, oh, Tate's not dead. But no.
Some people
I don't care that he cried.
Going to funerals. I don't like going to funerals.
But I remember him hitting me like, "I cried over you." And I was like, oh, that's nuts. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm going to leave it on.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know what to say after
do
that.
not move. Do not, if a body moves at a funeral, faith is dipping out.
I'm out. Out that door.
So do not pick faith in the zombie apocalypse.
That's different. That's different.
Why? Whoa. I was about to leave, but I want to hear a little bit. Why is that different?
That's different. You know that they're already dead.
So
it's
like the zombie
it's
apocalypse.
Like a pandemic. It's a big pandemic where people are undead. You don't expect someone who's laying up in a coffin who was declared dead to shoot up out of the coffin.
Like, what up?
No. Zombies, you at least know they're zombies. I can't tell you if that person is actually just alive again, or if that's the devil in them. You don't know.
That is hilarious. The devil. That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So,
all right, guys.
I'm not going to take faith on the zombie apocalypse still, though. Okay.
Whatever. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to close out the show. Thank you so much for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.